And Anderson, it is hard to think of a political comeback that is actually more significant than this one. I'm tempted to say Richard Nixon, but that really falls short of what Donald Trump has achieved.
Yeah, I mean, winning not just the electoral votes, but the popular vote as well. Because I'm thinking about the people who are not a part of anybody's elite, who are hurting tonight. There are African American women who know a little bit about being talked down to, and know a little bit about having their economic dreams crushed, who tried to dream a big dream over the past couple of months. And tonight they're trading in a lot of hope for a lot of hurt. And they were hoping that maybe this time, one of their own could be seen as worthy. And once again, they're facing rejection. And that hurts. They thought tomorrow morning they're going to walk out with their shoulders back a little bit, maybe able to breathe for the first time and feel like they belong someplace. They did everything that they knew how to do. And it's going to be harder than it should be tomorrow for them to hold their heads up. And they're not the only people who are hurting tonight. If you're a parent of a trans kid, your child's face was used as a springboard to power for somebody. That doesn't feel good. There are going to be people tomorrow, we're going to be handing clothes at the dry cleaners to people who don't have papers. There are going to be people who are going to be cleaning your teeth tomorrow who don't have papers. And they're terrified tonight. And so it's easy to blow this off. Oh, look at the elites. They're going to get their comeuppance. It's not the elite that's going to pay the price. It's people who woke up this morning with a dream and are going to bed with a nightmare. And those people didn't deserve to be respected and held and talked to. Those are the people who are going to pay the price for whatever Donald Trump decides to do.
Yeah, but Van, how do we know that those people didn't vote? A large portion of those people aren't part of the people that elected Donald Trump.
Well,
right? I think that's a good part of the electorate. And the black women, the party, the Democratic Party, let those black women down. Not Donald Trump.
Yeah, Jake, let me just give you a gut check here about what we are hearing here as we've been sitting here reporting from the Harris headquarters. And I think the operative word right now is silence. There's not a lot being said because the Harris team appears to be searching for bright spots in the map as these results very, very slowly come in.
Searching for bright spots and also very aware of the warning signs throughout the electorate in Virginia, in
Iowa called for Trump, so there goes that nonsense. I'm getting revved up here on a significant rant. So, because Kamala Harris is not winning, and the people who thought that Kamala Harris was going to win in a landslide are totally wrong.
I think this is a big, huge part of the story that it's hard to even digest fully at this moment. But you have Elon Musk, who owns Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it these days, X, who is a disinformation propagandist and now has could potentially have a direct line to the Oval Office.
Your candidate win, then Karen, if that
has nothing to do with whether or not we won. My point is, you're going to get in a time machine and go back 4 years.
Why didn't the vice president win if the economy was so great?
That's not the point I'm making. The point. Don't look at me like that.
What's the point?
The point that I'm trying to make is that where we were in 2017 and 2018, we can't just get in a time machine and go back.
My point is your message didn't resonate.
I said that.
Point. And I think to try to pretend and paint a picture, and Bakari, I get your points in terms of the charts. I get it. I'm a numbers guy. But most people are saying, I get the numbers. I don't have a 401k. I'm not invested in the stock market.
What started out as a hopeful sense that maybe we could knock off Ted Cruz and maybe the independent candidate in Nebraska, while not caucusing with Democrats, would deny the Republicans a seat. Now we're looking at whether or not I think the Republicans end up with 51, 52, 53, or 54 seats. And why is that so important? Well, one reason it's so important is because it probably means if this all happens, this is very depressing. I'm sorry to do this to everyone, but it means maybe the worst instincts of Donald Trump as to who he would appoint to the cabinet can become real, because there wouldn't be enough people that would say, no, you're not putting somebody who's been in prison in charge of the National Security Council. This is not a good idea. So that worries me. Now, the other thing about the Senate races that I think we need to take a moment and talk about is now the House becomes very important. Yeah. And these House races that, frankly, some of them are in California, so we haven't had a chance to do deep dives yet. Karnacki has not really educated us yet fully on all of these House races that are out there. But we flipped some already. And Hakeem Jeffries may be the most important person in Washington for the values we care about.
Yeah, when you're looking at a landscape, Michael Steele, in which Donald Trump does get the White House and they have 52, 53, 54 seats in the Senate, all eyes then go to the House.
Again, underperforming the president in places. So you asked, are there any places that the vice president is overperforming Joe Biden in 2020? So we could show you that as well. We just bring that out here. Harris overperforming in 2020.
Holy smokes.
There you go. So let this go away and see if there's anything on the east side there.
Literally nothing?
Literally nothing.
Literally not one county?
By 3.
Holy smokes. Literally nothing? Holy smokes. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. See, this is what happens when we just, instead of actually talking about, having an actual plan, what we're going to do, answering questions. But no, it's Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. So Trump is so bad, he's going to get me elected. That was their plan. The Kamala Harris campaign was one of the worst campaigns, like I told you, we're probably ever going to see. I tried telling y'all this. It didn't resonate with people. It didn't resonate with them hardworking patriots around the world. Them tax-paying citizens. Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. You make people think Trump might actually be good, and I might need to go do some research. And that's what a lot of people did. But hey, this is your result. Yeah. Yeah, take a good look at it. Yeah.
I can't believe Trump's actually going to win this fucking thing. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm so pissed off. Fuck. God damn it. I can't believe.
Yeah. Sorry, you guys. That might be very disturbing to some of y'all. Y'all want to see it again?
Trump's actually going to win this fucking thing. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm so pissed off. Fuck.
Yeah. Yep. Are they blaming Biden? They're blaming Biden. Oh, boy.
Well, and that's what makes the timing, I think, of President Biden's decision to step down after the debate something that, if she does in fact lose, will be under a microscope because, of course, there was so much discussion, even over the summer, about potentially having an open primary and having that fight play out within the Democratic Party. So I think it's one of the big questions moving forward.
We have this very funky and terrible system called the Electoral College, which decides elections in a way that's totally different than every other election in the United States decided, and the way that anything's decided anywhere else in the world. We should scrap it.
Effectively where things are at the end of the evening, but I got to tell you, Savannah, on a day when so many those close to Kamala Harris really felt like they had the momentum, they felt like the vibes were on their side, it quickly appeared clear that, despite her effort to say that we're not going back, that they may be returning to the figures that haunted Democrats back in 2016, where they just didn't have enough to defeat Donald Trump. That go around, so many blank stares, glum faces, people not so much holding back tears, but certainly unable to crack a smile here. They had been handing out American flags early on. As some of the early numbers were out, they were cheering and waving those flags. But as the night progressed and they watched the returns come in, no more waving flags. In fact, they asked for the television to be muted here with the returns, with the exception of Hawaii, Colorado, other places that Harris won. They turned them on and got cheers for that. Instead, they blasted music to try to sort of distract from the situation, try to give a little pick-me-up to the people here.
Let's talk about exactly the question that you're asking is one that I've been catching a lot of heat for answering on air, and we've been talking about this in the last week or two. You're talking about the propaganda campaign and the playbook of Trump. This is not new. This is not surprising. This is directly out of Hitler's playbook. This is out of an autocrat playbook. This is a way to, I mean, the things that Trump has done masterfully, frankly, is to get the entire, to get a big part of the population to believe that the game is rigged and to sow distrust in public institutions and the free press. That is a tried and true playbook that we have seen time and time before that has resulted in really disastrous things for society. And that is what's working. And so it's actually quite simple. When you tell a big enough lie over and over and over, people are going to believe it. Even when folks around him, like Rudy Giuliani and others, have literally been found liable for telling those lies that weren't true. The public still believes it, and the whole goal was to erode trust in our public institutions, and it's working. Fake news. If anything, that's what fake news. I mean, Donald Trump has done that really well, can't
Fake news, the enemy of the people. It's real. Fake news. Yeah, CBS, fake news. ABC, fake news. MSNBC, fake news. CNN, fake news. Everything, fake news. Bias reporting, propaganda, lies after lies after lies. Fake, false headlines. We saw what you said when Trump did this and Trump said this. We saw what y'all said. Cutting clips. Misinformation. And hey, now look what's all been debunked. It's all been debunked. I wonder why. Fake news.
And we begin our final sprint, having arrived at that point in the election season where basically we on this side of the TV screen have said all we can. We've laid out the stakes in this crucial election, where one side stands for freedom while the other meets the textbook definition of fascism, namely a far-right dictatorial regime like Hitler's Germany or Franco's Spain or Mussolini's Italy, but also white-ruled South Africa before Mandela and the black majority took control, or Vladimir Putin's Russia, Viktor Orban's Hungary, or Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela today, that suppresses the rights of women and minorities, uses the military to execute the whims of a strongman dictator, and controls and suppresses the press, education, the arts, rewrites history to suit a favored and dominant racial class, and foments extravagant corruption in order to enrich the dictator and his friends.
We still have an electorate, 70 million plus, that will be voting for a man who said he was going to assassinate for treason the chairman of the Joint Chiefs because he didn't support him on January the 6th, who said just in recent days he was going to execute Liz Cheney with a firing squad, 9 guns pointed and shooting at her face. A man who has said that he was going.
You see? Fake news. We know what Trump said. I don't have to pull the clip up. We know what Trump said, man. But this is what they have been doing, especially this whole entire campaign, man. Trump says one thing, they spin it. They take a small clip of it. They don't actually play the whole clip. They take a small clip and spin it, take it completely out of context, and then they spew it out live on air. We know what he said about Liz Cheney, Warhawk. Yeah, we know exactly what he said. And he didn't say that. But once again, they're so Trump deranged. Trump deranged, stage 4. And it's eating them alive. And they're just melting down crying, live on air. Because Liz Cheney don't care about our soldiers, about our fallen heroes. Nah, they don't care. We want no wars, Joe. How about you ask Liz and Dick? Do they want any wars? No wars? Do they want peace? How about you go ask him that, Joe?
going to shut down CBS because he didn't like how they edited an interview. A man who said he was going to be a dictator from day one.
Day one was a couple years ago, and the edited interview was election interference. We all seen that. The whole world see what they did. Everybody's seen what CBS did. And actually, a lot of people, even Democrats, people on the other side, are congratulating Trump for actually suing.
A man who said he was going to terminate the Constitution, a man who said he was going to use the Army and he was going to use the National Guard on his political opponents. I literally could go on all day, and yet you talk to Trump voters and they'll go, he didn't say that. Wait, no, I didn't hear him. And then you say, well, here's the quote, and then they'll go, yeah, he didn't mean that. So there's something far more long-lasting than just Donald Trump, the candidate. There is a sort of Russian embrace of disinformation, a radical devaluing of truth over the last 9 to 10 years, and a complete ignorance on civics and what the term Madisonian democracy even means, what checks and balances even means, what judicial review even means, what the rule of law even means. How do we as a nation, even post-Trump, how do we reach those Americans who apparently didn't go to civics class, apparently didn't learn the basics of this Constitution, and have just been overwhelmed with disinformation over the past 9 years?
It's a state that I think Democrats definitely were reaching for. There was a lot of work to try to turn out the college campuses, which were really thick and really packed, and try to turn out the suburbs. And I think there was a lot of hope because of just the insanity, can we say fairly, of the person who's running for governor in that state, and the thought that, defeating him would also carry Harris in. But in the end, if they didn't make their numbers and essentially exceed the numbers that Joe Biden had in the suburbs, and I think we have to be blunt about why. Black voters came through for Kamala Harris. White women voters did not. That is what it appears happened in that state, is that if you can't flip enough white women, and we've talked about this on this set numerous times, is that you have a state where you've got a 6-week abortion or a 12-week abortion. I think theirs might be 12 weeks. Yep. But it's a state where women lost their reproductive rights, where there was a very heavy push to get women to focus on not putting in place, re-electing, putting back into the White House the person who was responsible for taking those rights away and restoring them. But that message obviously was not enough to get enough white women to vote for Vice President Harris, a fellow woman. This will be the second opportunity that white women in this country have to change the way that they interact with the patriarchy. And, God bless Shannon Watts, who has tried to have that conversation. But if people aren't receptive to it, and if people vote more party line or more on race than on gender and on protecting their gender, there's really not much more that you can do but tell people what the risks are and leave it to them to do the right thing.
All I can say is, what did you expect? What did you expect? I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace and love, y'all.